that blue one. Though.
Did I send it to you?
I just got on there, dude. You just gave me.
Did you see that? Did you see that pink? I like that one too.
That one's so cool.
I think you need some of the shoes Brian's wearing. The only cool ones I've ever seen. They match your glasses.
The pink one's
That's why I go with
awesome.
the black and white.
Really,
Black
all
and
of
white
them
system.
are awesome. Hold on, I'm secting people right now that want to watch. There we go. Then. No, they were on Facebook Live. Here we are.
Again.
Here we are again.
We're the
Back
same
again
thing.
like we never left.
Friday afternoon. Oh yeah, changed my shirt, turned it inside
Turn it
out.
Inside out for the thing.
We'll notify everyone once again. The beard is back. Yes, it is. You are not seeing an imposter.
Where'd we put?
It is me.
Where'd we put his real?
It is second TikTok
yeah.
live. What
you
is
have
that?
a real beard around here somewhere, right?
Dude,
Where's that hat?
It's out.
put it
It's
on.
out on the
stole
landing.
my beard.
Because it's that awesome.
Yeah. Is it? Dang it.
Dad, go get it.
The beard.
Did you hang it on the
The
balcony?
dang beard. Yeah, did you do that?
No. Oh, come on. Come on.
You get to warm up. It's warmer
watch
out there.
Dad. He wants to go out there anyway. He's freezing to death. He was so mad about how hot it was. I brought an air conditioner in. Here we are, comfortable. I'm
My
comfortable.
wife would hate you. It feels great. It's like
I think
68
it feels-
degrees in here.
It feels so good. Your wife probably hates me anyway without the air conditioner,
Yeah,
but
hate's a strong word for actual feelings, but
well, maybe it's more like a love then. More like an adoration.
she likes it.
Adoration.
That's a strong word too.
adoration.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that word.
That's
Someone
just-
said that the other day, and I thought,
Everybody wondered why
Whoa.
Brian's self-confident. He just tells himself all these great big words.
ooh.
No, that's perfect. No, that's what it needs to look like. It's ready to rock. This is what Brian would look like if he could grow a beard.
Phil Robertson.
Dude.
Yeah, he's
Rip,
awesome.
rest in
Oh
peace.
my gosh.
Rest in peace, Phil.
Hey,
You
and
know,
that's-
Phil
Shout
had
out
some
Phil.
hard times, but dude,
That's a good
Shout
intro to
out
this
Phil,
too,
though.
right? Is like the world when Phil was younger would be like, there's no hope for that guy because he did actionable things wrong. But dude, Phil Robertson,
Phil lived.
Phil's
Shout
in
out,
heaven.
Phil.
He's in heaven.
Rest
Phil
in
lived
peace,
hard
my
and
brother.
fast as a young man. I don't know if you guys have ever studied. Oh, Phil, do you know a lot of people knew he played football,
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech,
Yeah.
and he was a quarterback. But did you know he was the starter?
No.
He was the starter. And what's his name? Thad, you don't know the other guy's name? The
Sorry?
other quarterback, the Steelers, the big man in movies.
Terry Bradshaw?
Terry Bradshaw.
Oh, yeah,
Terry was the backup. So a lot of people thought that Phil was the backup to Terry Bradshaw at L Tech. He wasn't. Phil was the starting quarterback. Bradshaw was the backup. And, you know, obviously Phil hung up the cleats and pursued other things, and Bradshaw went to the NFL. He's a phenomenal talent. But that's what is cool about it is Bradshaw was no joke.
No.
So if Bradshaw
Hey.
was the backup,
You know,
Phil
I
was
just found
good.
out he turned down potential pro football career because it interfered with hunting season. That's true.
You
Phil.
know it's got to be
Phil
true then, because that
Robertson.
sounds
True,
right
Phil
on. That
Robertson.
tracks with Phil. So
Said no to the money. I got to go shoot these ducks, though.
I don't want to be weird and act like I know that crew, but Phil and the boys came to town a couple of times. And the first time I got to meet, I've got a picture downstairs. Me and Legend were at a dinner with our friend Kevin Neiman. Thank you, Kevin, for the invite that day. And we got to meet Phil and the boys the first time. It was great. I mean, they were pretty cool people. And that would have been Legend was probably like 9 or 10. So that's been 6 years ago. Additionally, after that, we got to meet a little bigger spread of the family. And that's a pretty cool family. You know, everyone's imperfect and everyone wants to hammer them. But, dude, as soon as you throw your whole dang family up on a camera and you get to see all the weird stuff, there's going to be stuff going on. I mean, have people over for your kid's birthday party. I mean, you did that recently.
Yeah.
People are in your home. They get to see that whatever it is. Like at our house, I try my best. But you know what? We use paper plates. Everyone's always like, do you use real dishes?
Doesn't
Not
surprise
right
me.
now.
They pee sitting down.
Well, we pee sitting down. You're going to notice the
I-
toilets, or you can
I
eat
use
off
paper
of them.
plates at my house.
You
but
could
it's-
eat off
I do
our
for
toilets,
parties.
Dad.
I do for like a lot of day-to-day living because I got little people that I got to put to bed, and I'm not trying to clean the kitchen for hours and hours on end.
Right.
As well.
The whole point
When
is,
my wife
that,
used 36 pots to make the dinner.
well, and if
so-
she's making dinner,
Who's
then
made dinner?
Oh, the wife makes the
Hey,
dinner.
you're just cleaning
I
it
grill
up.
the meat, and then I clean. So
Well, and if she makes the dinner, you gotta just be fine.
So you just got to fix it with cleaning. Just put it on paper.
I know. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, just yeah.
So back
Let's
to Phil
speed this
Robertson.
up.
The point is once they bring a camera in your home, unless you just hide from it, there's no hiding. You got to be real. And what a tough job. I bet when they started that, Willie talks about this in some of his kind of like stories that he shares. It was hard at first, boys, not to just blend with the world, the accolades. You could even talk yourself into it. Cool, we're Christians and we're going to be on TV, but really, I just can't wait to make that money. And a lot of people wouldn't even take issue with it. Yeah, dude, make the money. You're growing your business. You're doing whatever. But I love how authentic he gets now that he's older and he's learned a lot. Like, hey, I wasn't truly being authentic then. I was chasing success. I was chasing, because he's built like that. He was perfect to run Duck Commander because his personality is different. It's not that everyone else is bad. He's just a type A achiever, and he's perfect to run. So, but the problem with personalities like mine or his or some of your guys's would be, we do love to win, and it's a competition.
It's addicting, yeah. And
all of a sudden, we're way outside the lines of being real or authentic in the name of
winning,
getting it done. I can't do this anymore. Look, I can't do it anymore.
I was able to actually like talk without laughing.
It made
this time. Yeah.
If I put a dip in, would it make it even better too?
It's Jen wanting to know which one was real.
Jen, you want to know if I'm real?
No, you're bigger.
Oh my gosh!
You should wear that out.
I guess I've never seen her real
I
life.
think that we need a competition between me and
I
Bryan.
haven't seen a lot of these people real life, so they
If he
wouldn't
loses,
know.
He has to wear that outside in the public.
I'll wear it to the gym.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just sweating,
Just show up,
sweating
like,
down the fake beard.
Get you just all wet. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm so wet. So that's weird too. It's fine. Let's talk about.
Is it
Today's something I wanted to kick around. I made a comment to you, Kellen, before. I feel like my blood pressure's getting weird. My knees like going to sleep.
because you're
I'm
drinking
sitting
a ton of
weird.
more Celsius?
No, this is helping. Like when I started drinking this, it got better. I wanted to say,
people just lie to themselves to get through things.
Just coping mechanisms. Just
call it
coping.
social, yeah.
Just coping mechanisms.
Celsius can sponsor us at any point.
yeah, well, and they want to, but the problem is that we'll edit out the blue one, but orange one's
Because
fine.
it tastes great.
Great means,
I think you've been sucking on that beard too long.
dude, if it's between this and the blue one, I'm going beard. I want to talk about something today that
Look at him.
people have a hard time putting words to. And so, Thad, think about worldly position. Paint the picture for you. Worldly position, to a lot of people, you're sold this.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Oh my gosh.
The Pope.
We already got a DM from the Pope's people.
it's a
They're
worldly
so
position.
pissed. So,
I'll smooth it all over. Italian beef. Fly us out of the Vatican. We'll do an Italian beef in the Vatican.
So now he's cool because what we get to eat.
No, we'll be bringing. We'll be providing.
well, don't get weird, dude. If they're bringing us over to the Vatican, I'll take some pics. I'll eat a sandwich. If you can set that up. What I don't want to do is go to a Chicago Cubs game. I don't care about any of that. That was a negative for him. In fact, when they were going through his stuff,
he's
it
a
was like
Sox fan.
negatives,
Unfortunately,
positives. Pope, cool, thinks he's the king of the world. Fine. Negatives. From Chicago, Cubs fan, all horrible things. So, worldly position, let's paint a picture for him. Have a perfect looking situation on social media, especially our days. Finish school, go to college, already know what you're going to do, meet some hot chick, everybody's perfect. All the things are good. You do all the things you're supposed to. You have a couple of kids, you have a nice car, and you got a good job, and it has upward mobility and potential to be the manager, or like, what is it on The Office, like the assistant to the district manager. It's not even a real thing.
Yeah.
Freaking love that. That's why we don't even do that here. Like, I've had people over the years say, I want to be a manager. Oh, cool. You can be an assistant to the district manager. Like, I don't even know what any of that means, but so we're drawing that picture of worldly position. And what it ends up doing for a lot of people, not all, some people have this like weird superpower to where they can avoid all the nonsense. Not me, but a lot of people did. And I look at it like, it's this like perfect worldly picture that actually is empty. A lot of it's empty. Versus heart position. So I've had to learn about heart position the last couple of years, because I'll tell you, up until just a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought much about heart position. Because heart position is a vulnerable place to where you actually have to speak on the real topics. But when you speak on real topics, you got to admit you're a piece of shit in a lot of areas. Sorry, you can edit that out if you need to. But you are. And I was. And so when you are that, you don't want to talk about the real stuff, because at some point you're going to have to admit, yeah, that's probably not that good. But when your heart position adjusts, it's not overnight, but when it begins to adjust and you start to think more authentically and have real feelings about things, you don't have as much issue saying, yeah, dude, I'm struggling with that, but I'm working. Like, I want to work on it. Because you know how hard it is to work on something alone? You need accountability. You need someone that's praying, helping, feeding it, that can be in that tug of war with you. But if you're not bringing it up, it's like it doesn't exist. You're in this fight alone. So today I want to dig into that. I want to start talking about what is the difference between worldly position, which, dude, I know a lot of people that think that rank is big. They think it's awesome. They got their freaking golf polo on today with the shorts. They didn't have to work a whole day because they're at the country club. Kids are at the private school, probably a Christian one. They're going to be at church on Sunday. You know these guys.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's women too, but we're speaking about guys. I've never been exactly that thing, but I've been a version of that thing, and it's not that real.
Well, all you got to do to kind of unveil the mask is talk about anything deep, and everybody checks out.
Well,
You know the difference.
because then you have to admit you think it's wrong or that you do it.
Well, the difference is me focused versus others focused. And if I'm about the world in the position and the titles, and you mentioned that a minute ago, assistant to the
District manager.
district manager, what? But I'm asking for a title because it's all about me. And in our ministry, we'll have somebody that like wants that. No, you don't. By the way, no, you don't want that position, because it means you're responsible for all these people that come with all their problems that you're supposed to care about. And so it comes with a lot of capacity lacking if I get it too quickly. But if I'm chasing that title, the only reason I'm chasing it is I'm climbing a ladder for me, for what I can do for myself.
Can I ask you a serious question?
It was you took your beard off, so I suppose.
Have you never seen The Office?
I've
He's
watched
never
a couple
seen
episodes.
The Office.
Oh,
I knew it.
God.
I could see the look on his face when he attempted to say assistant to the district manager, and I thought, this dude's never seen The Office. I'm going to give you a pass.
I've seen a couple episodes. I like Dwight.
Dude, Dwight's good.
Yeah.
Dude, the characters on
gonna
The
like-
Office are
Am
ridiculously
I going to
good.
like binge it? No.
You should. It's funny. It's mostly, they got a few little zingers in there joke-wise. No nudity, no nonsense. I would say, and Thad, you like clean stuff.
Like the Pope.
Like the Pope.
Hey Pope. You're good at that. I respect that. The Office is pretty there, right? For the most
I love
part.
The Office. I think The Office is funny. I think Parks and Rec is hilarious.
Parks and Rec's hilarious.
Parks and Rec is just, it's The Office taken to the Parks Department.
Well-
That's really what it is, but it's super funny.
They all have the best characters.
Yeah, bro, it's like an all-star list of comedians in that show. And they were my friends while I was literally in a space where I didn't really know anybody for a while. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds
okay.
like an episode there.
So
Little
when you
closet
said
time.
when you said clean, you just mean that he's intentional about what he watches.
I think I have a lot of respect for Thad, because I think he makes intentional decisions around what he's going to do. And so I thought you'd be a pretty good source. I mean, I think The Office is probably, it's good.
I mean,
think
it depicts accurate workplace ridiculousness.
there's a few off-color.
Realistically, like if you work in an office with human beings, you're probably gonna
It's
like,
pretty funny.
get
Yeah,
into
people are
most
weird.
of those
And
situations.
there-
And
There's-
it draws the highlights out of people being weird in an office.
yes,
There's some
Yes, it highlights
off-color
weird stuff.
jokes, but there's no nudity. There's no.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
like
but I think-
pushing.
I think back to
sexual
what you were talking about. That
agenda.
really is a big deal, right? When I'm talking about status and it's all about me, yet there's all this imperfections in the background that I know about.
Right.
That's a real weird thing, is to position myself to look a certain way on social and out in front of people and be a completely different person behind the scenes.
And dude, I
That's a
want to
hard
say
issue.
to all the people out there that are kind of cringing at what you just said, We all deal with that.
Yeah.
In today's world, especially if you are out in the world promotionally, if you're out there on social media, if you're trying to build a business, if you just enjoy social media or whatever, the idea that you're going to project a version of you that doesn't totally exist in real life is not that abnormal. And I would like to encourage men specifically, don't get weird with this thing. Don't go hide from this thing. Reach out. Kellen and I just met with a guy the other day over a couple of attempts of a reach out dealing with a high level of what we all deal with at some point in time. And that's an identity crisis. It's a like, I don't know who I am, so I'm going to be a version of like what I think a combination of these other people I see are. I like how he looks. I'm going to dress that way. Dude, that guy's funny. I'm going to blend in some of that personality. That dude has a pretty cool job, so I'm going to act like I kind of do that thing too. And they have this, so that's what you blend it all in, and you're this like cocktail of people that you want to be like, but it's not you.
Being a chameleon is exhausting.
I was a chameleon. It's super hard because you don't remember who you're supposed to be.
Well, and then with the status too, or the position, like when people are hurt around you, because everybody goes through stuff. But what was happening too, and it's happened to me, and it's happened to other leaders, is when you're not 100% healthy and somebody else is hurting, they can often label you. And if you let those things stick and you don't have anybody with emotional capacity around you to communicate with, to pray with, to feed you your real identity, it's a trap, man. It's exhausting.
Well, and I was thinking about The Office. You know, Thad, The Office is actually pretty good at creating multiple versions of the story we're talking about. Like, you know, Michael's supposed to be like the wears a suit every day. He's the boss.
Yeah.
Everything's good. He's got a nice car, has a nice house, and the rest of these people are trying to become him. Dude, and they make jokes about it. So the cool thing about The Office is they're almost like making fun of the whole idea that structure exists. It's like this joke on corporate America, right? That is it kind of like this they're trying to say is like, we see this everywhere and we're just going to make fun of it.
Yeah.
It's super funny.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like some goons in there. There's some clowns that are just like, you know, they come in just to cash a check, and there's dudes that work hard. And
well, then there's
whatever.
the people over Michael, like
Yes.
the boss's boss, and they're from corporate and, you know, pencil dresses and suits and limos and whatnot. It's dude, it's a great depiction of the world we live in. I can't encourage men enough. Look, if it takes some like douche like me saying it, try to find a way to find someone who will let you be real.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone in your life allowing that, you're going to spiral. I work on this. I'm still working on this. It's been a hard thing in life to not kind of swim around in what the world would think is some partial successes or like cool stuff or things or accolade. None of that stuff has anything. It's not bad on its own. Look, you did a good job. You earned an award. Cool. You did a good job. You built a company. You sold it. Cool. These aren't bad on their own. And dude, there are plenty of people alive that have figured out or have enough character and integrity and have built systems around them to live within those things and perform well and still have their heart position lined up. But I would say more times than not for men, I meet them, and one of the number one things I'm noticing, and I notice it because it was me, it's so much easier to see things when you are things.
Yeah, when you
You've
walk
done
through
it.
So I see what happens to a man, and it's like a steering wheel on his heart, and all of a sudden certain things start to happen, and that heart position starts to change. The dude himself didn't go, I love this, or I hate that. It happens to you inherently from behaviors, thought process, mindset begins to control your heart position. And all of a sudden you wake up one day and you feel like some cool things have happened, but you're definitely a cheater in some form or fashion. It doesn't even have to be traditional cheating that people talk about, but it's some form of it. You are, you're not really happy. You're projecting happy because this other guy in your color wheel showed you how to be happy. And it's almost like we're computers and we can, okay, it's almost like you take on that skin for your age group, Thad. You guys work in skins and avatars and all that weird stuff.
What is that?
But you know what it is. Don't get
Says that
weird.
He had to show me how to use Instagram.
You
I thought that
you
was for
probably played
teenagers.
Fortnite, dude. What are you, like 23? Did you play Fortnite?
No.
Liar.
I have
What did you
never.
play? Oh, sorry, you played Apex Legends.
No.
What'd you play? You played something.
FIFA, bro. Madden.
Okay,
College
so-
football. Don't play the. I can't do
No
the.
skin games.
No.
Legends always like, well, he's kind of growing out a little bit now, but he's like, I need some money. I want to get skins. I just look at him.
Humans.
What? Had he asked
There's some
me for
people that
money
are
for a
weird.
bicycle,
It's different
Weird
images of your
stuff.
character because my kids. That's the same thing we're talking about. Is they want to put this image on to present themselves a certain
and
way
it comes
to
with
the
some
audience.
other tool or weapon or whatever. It's a great, like, it's a great analogy to our lives. These games are. Whoever's doing it, what's funny is the people creating it might even be projecting some kind of trauma in their own life to create to where it's
Sheesh.
like, hey, I wish I was boom, boom, boom. You know what? I'm going to create a game. And all you have to do is you get the skin and all of a sudden you're boom. It's no different than I watched recently, and you guys have probably seen it, that movie Ready Player One.
Oh, I love that movie.
I would caution parents for sure. It's not for
Oh, it's
teenagers.
definitely not for kids.
It's
like-
not for kids. It's not for preteens. So a caution. I just want to be real. I mean, I would caution. Read the reviews. There's some great reviews to read on these websites to find out what's going on. Another thing you could do is there's an app called VidAngel. Have you guys heard of VidAngel?
Mm-hmm.
You never heard of VidAngel?
Yeah, it alters the movies for you, right?
What VidAngel does
takes
is it's
out all,
actually
like, the-
pretty cool.
Takes it out. Yeah.
The-
You can
it filters
tell it,
out stuff.
and you
yeah.
can tell it what to do. So, like a Terminator, I used it on Terminator. Ollie wanted to watch Terminator. I'm having a conversation with his mom about it. It's definitely rated R. But Terminator, dude, is like, you can't even really get citizenship here if you haven't seen Terminator 1, in my opinion. Rocky to 4, Terminator 1, or no citizenship, but whatever, it's fine. But what you can do with VidAngel is you can go in there and you can say, hey, don't show me the butt cheeks, don't show me the tits, don't show me this, but definitely show me him destroying the other machines. I'm fine with that. You can tell it. So it's pretty cool. I think VidAngel is a winning play for families when you want to watch movies because you can just tailor it and you can watch pretty much anything. Shows. So what I was getting into is that Ready Player One is this idea, Kellen, since you haven't seen it, is it's this startup of VR, which, you know, the boys, Maverick and your son, they've been playing kind of this VR thing. And it's at a safer place right now because we can control it. But there's
this is-
coming a day,
I mean,
boys.
this is like
It's gonna
out
get
of
weird.
control.
There's already a day.
When
We're already
this
making
is like-
adult women for men. It's weird.
Right. And you can access it. Our boys can't. You know, Kay can't. Maverick can't. But someday, these boys are going to be old enough and they're going to have their own gear. And they're going to be able to do whatever they want. And what Ready Player One is, it's like a depiction of where we're going, 100%.
Yeah, it's like 50 years in the future.
It-
They're like
yeah.
super reliant.
And dude,
on
it may
this
be
game.
sooner than that for sure.
Yeah.
But you get to this place to where my life sucks. They even kind of show it, right? Thad, think of at the beginning, he's poor.
Oh, he's super poor.
They
He's
live
living
in like this
a trailer park high
a
rise.
trailer park high rise, which is weird. It's like trailer parks stacked up. So it's like a big city, but it's trailer
Trailer
parks.
parks.
Super
they're
creative.
Like on a pole. Like
They're
and
kinda
they,
trying-
like,
yeah.
Go down these stairs.
They
to
want
get
it to
down,
be
and it's
like
super
in the future, instead of stacking buildings and stuff, buildings, apartments, it's like you have your trailers and they're all stacked up. So it's like a low income area.
It's like the trailer park was built on the land that my house is on,
it's
and it's like 7,000 square feet, and then it's like 20
There's a
20
lo-
stories high.
if you watch the movie, there's a lot there. The person that
it's so good.
created this movie,
so good.
like a lot of visionaries and movie creators, there's something going on in there that we don't all experience. But what they're doing in Ready Player One is when he goes into his machine, he can be whoever he wants.
Exactly.
Yeah, he polishes the
That's what I
cup
was
on the
gonna ask,
outside.
if it's to be who I want to be because I can't accept who I am.
Or I don't have what I want, or
Well, even if it's unintentional, you know, you're talking about guys, and you shared a post with me earlier, Brian, where, you know, somebody was saying, hey, stop being a child. But when you're looking at those kind of things, and even if I don't dislike who I am, I lose who I am by trying to be somebody else so much so that when I come back, I can't stand what I see. And that's where so many guys get, and they don't share it. And I can't speak for ladies, but I really can. Like, I'd say social media is more toxic for women than men because
Oh, dude, yes.
the the skins on
Yes.
social media where I just make all my wrinkles go away and look this perfect way. Like there are people that I've known forever that I'm friends with. They don't have one real picture of themselves. And it's just like, you're fine. Like everything about you is you and you're beautiful. Just accept you the way
There
you are.
has to be some sort of filter. There has
Yeah.
to be some sort of tweaking. There has to be some sort of this, some sort of that. And really, like this all like goes back to Matthew 23, 25, 26. Realistically, it's like, what are you scribes and Pharisees, these hypocrites? For you clean the outside and the plate, but inside they're full of greed and self-indulgence. You're blind. First clean the inside of the cup, and the outside will also be clean. We
Well,
don't.
we avoid that.
We don't
Yeah.
have to be perfect. You don't have to have a
Yeah.
highlight reel. Honestly, I think we should start something of like a low light reel, of like
Show the
just
mess
show
ups.
show the crap that happens. Like because
Don't edit out Thad just throwing shade at the Pope like a mofo.
but also like
Bryan called me
real,
Kevin
like real
17
stuff with
times.
like your kids. It's like other parents are probably going through that stuff with their kids too. Like
Their kids screaming all the way home.
and it's
all
like
that.
and it's like the rise of social media has made everybody try to just have the Sports Center highlight reel. And it's like, but like real life happens in the low light.
it's trying to convince us even further because we were already lost that separating and communicating digitally and cleaning the outside of the glass, as long as that looks good to the rest of the world, I'm valuable.
right.
What a jacked up thing is that?
Because that procures likes, comments,
engagement.
on your post. But like real life happens in the low light. Real life happens in like the weird, like your kid came up and like hit you in the nuts because they're small and they just ran up to try to hug you and they missed.
You
kind of
went
thing.
down.
And I'm like,
It happened in the fails.
Oh, God,
like you watch the
that
movies
sucks.
too, and some of them, the authentic comedians, and you may think one of these too. It's so cool because they'll have this perfect setup of this perfect movie. Then at the end of the movie, what they decide to do is show all the fails of every clip they
The
got
outtakes.
wrong. All the outtakes.
The outtakes.
Yeah, and nobody's okay with their outtakes anymore. Nor can they fill them. They
Well, that's
they just want the highlight.
It's so funny to think about you talking about the kids. So like a lot of people know my 4-year-old Legacy had a transplant.
Yeah.
So when kids have transplants, they regress in very like noticeable ways, but they take on different things. Legacy can smell you from a mile away. It's real. It's a heightened sense of smell and taste. So like toothpaste, mints in your mouth. Like if you wanted a hug and you had a mint, he ain't gonna come close to you, and he'll tell you your mouth smells funny. Stuff we don't even really think of. Well, so what happens is these kids regress into a place where they don't potty train as fast, which he's good now on that. But he nursed longer than most kids because it's like he lost almost a year of his life, and they regress, and so they breastfeed longer, which actually isn't horrible because at least it's not something negative. It's not a bad thing. It's a very good,
it's a
healthy,
natural.
normal thing.
Normal stuff.
It's just going on longer than normal. So he did that till not long ago, and he called them boo-boos. And so that started when he was little, and he always wanted boo-boos. And so he told his mom recently that when he stays the night with me that he gets boo-boos from me, which was a joke. He makes a joke to his mom's like, I'm going to drink daddy's boo-boos.
That's cute.
So yesterday when I was picking him up to come over and stay the night, he told his mom, he goes, I'm not going to drink daddy's boo-boos tonight. And so he's trying to tell her he's brave. That's what he's trying to say is he's brave. Well, this morning I'm getting ready and he's in the bathroom and I come through just wearing shorts, trying to get dressed for work and all this and that. And he goes, hey, and he goes, your ninnies are gross. I was like, what are ninnies? He goes, they're boys' boo-boos. Your ninnies are gross.
Your pecs.
I was like, where in the world did you even hear that stuff? So it's like, I'm thinking that.
Hey, I did hear Bryan like tout like yesterday that he's gonna work out like crazy lately.
Yeah, bro.
Dude,
He's gonna start getting,
let's
getting
sidetrack
back
a
in the
little
gym.
bit. Dude, me and Easy, well, I've
I just
been
wanna
working
know
out.
that come from your boy's comment.
Oh, no. Here's the thing. I try, I mean, and men, you need to hear
They
this.
do.
Men, you need
They
to hear
call it
this.
all out straight.
Getting activity in your life, I mean, this is huge. Men don't understand. I'm not telling you to get a shaker bottle and cut the sleeves off of your shirt and walk around the gym all day. I'm just trying to say get active every day.
I don't know what's wrong with shaker bottles.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
I don't know
shaker
what's wrong with
bottles.
shaker bottles.
Like, dude, when you're
Those
hey,
shaker bottles.
He's cutting every 20 year. So here's the shaker bottle thing.
Double
No.
mirror, taking a picture.
20-year-old guys that work out can't
Weird.
afford like the packaged quick trip drinks. They've got to have the big cases of stuff because they can't afford it.
I call them shaker
That's why you need shaker
bottles
bottles.
because shaker bottles are always like sleeveless
He
at the
calls them shaker
gym,
bottles because he sits in the sauna the whole time he works out.
taking pictures in the mirror for like I don't know who. all the people.
That's a social media issue.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's
Whatever
social
it
It's
media
is.
not fine. It's weird.
I'm glad they look awesome. I call them shaker bottles. It's fine because I don't have to remember their names. They're all shaker bottles.
So now they're people. Okay.
but
Okay, because I thought it was like
Yeah.
the actual shaker bottle, and I'm like,
but
what do you
hey,
have against
that's
Blizzard
what I'm
bottle, bro?
defending.
What do we?
Yeah.
we
what do
hit
we
the
got?
gym, dude. I'll tell you, and this is real men stuff, and I don't think Easy would care. Easy said, "Man, I want to make better decisions in all categories of life, and because of us helping each other, being accountable, talking about bigger wins, talking about more purpose." What happens is instead of us going the wrong direction, what happens for us is Easy and I are feeling some confidence and accountability towards making a better decision. And he said something to me today that I thought was key. He said, I used to think all this like do hard things. And I hope he's okay with me sharing this. I'm sure he is. Easy's a super out there guy who has a great heart. But
Great heart.
he said, I always thought that all that junk about do hard things and be better was all this like just macho talk for whatever. And what it is and what he shared in a vulnerable way is that was my problem, not being able to hear things that I just wasn't willing to put the effort in doing. Doing hard things is like this macho talk, but what it really was is him admitting I didn't want to make changes.
Yeah.
So instead of making changes, I'm going to say, oh, that guy's a dick because of this. Instead of saying, you know what? I'm going to do hard things. I'm going to make good eating choices. I'm going to watch better things. I'm going to
It's
try
about
to
being brave.
I'm going to get active. I want my body to transition. And so I got to throw props his way. Dude, Easy's on an all-week streak right now. And one day he did the work at home, which is even harder to do the work at home because you're at home and you're comfortable and going out in the garage is hard. So I kind of wanted to throw it. Men, just make that one next harder decision. Get active. And if that means going to the gym, it does. If it means walking around your neighborhood, do it. We're not just here talking about just spirituality, which is a big deal. We want the whole man, like you guys would talk about at Band of Brothers, Kellen. We want the whole guy to get better.
Well, and backtrack, what you said is really important, even on topic that we're talking about. It's not even just the next action. It's in an Easy's case, and you and I've had this conversation. I walked up to you and said something. It's saying the thing to another person that you know has your back. And if you don't have somebody that has your back, get around every other person. Get around somebody that will champion you and allow you to say the thing that sucks in your life and be like, let's jump into it together. And that's what's outside of social media is I suck in this area, or this area is intimidating, or my dad, and I hear this from men all the time, I'm so freaking scared of this area because my dad wasn't there or my dad never did it, and especially raising a boy, like I don't know how. And the second that a man says that out loud to a bunch of older guys, they're like, I'm there. Like, let's walk through it every single day. But if you don't say the thing, you were talking about the heart, you don't get the men with the heart that are ready to receive it and jump in the mud with you and figure it out.
Well, I would
We
say,
can figure it out.
To your point, Kellen, I would say it's bigger than just being able to point out somebody's issues. Like, we need guys ready to battle. So if you're going to come to me because you have the right heart position and start to talk to me about it, what we've got to do as men is say, hey, I've dealt with it. I'm dealing with it. I know someone. I'm not just going to critique you. We don't need a critique.
Well, in Easy's case, what I was actually saying is that if you're there and you trust another guy around you, tell him where you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
That vulnerable statement's where it all starts. Or if you have somebody else's back, and you and I had one comment, we've had a ton of conversations, but I walked up to you the other day because I love you and you know my heart position's right and said, hey, let's get this right. Like let's talk about this thing. Let's address it because you're going through a ton of stuff, and let me into it. Now I know, and you admit it, let me in there with you. And that's what guys are supposed to do together when it's not toxic.
But you get in. See, the difference is a lot of men are out there critiquing a guy about a thing and then walking away. Look, we need men ready to battle. So if you're going to point out a thing to your brother, you best be ready, if he can hear it, Now, if he can't hear it and he's pushing you away, all you can now really do is go back into prayer and stay consistent,
And
like you
walk
talked
in it,
about
yeah.
earlier, Thad, and then come back. Hope that the Lord is working there. But if the man can receive it, the warrior, that battle-tested man, needs to be ready to step in and say, I'm there, I've been there, I'm going to do this with you because you're ready. You're ready to start moving.
Well, and be ready to just throw punches with them too.
I wanna
Not
give a
at
resource.
them, but throw punches with
Right,
them,
right,
you know?
for them.
Yeah.
You know, I want to give a resource out. Tiffany will put this in our show notes for all of our episodes going forward. We'll try to make a note and remind each other about it. But you had mentioned that verse earlier, Thad. Thank you for bringing that up because it lined exactly up with the conversation. But, and Kellen, you use this a lot too. One of our favorite speakers is John Bevere.
Yep.
And Messenger X
Is incredible.
is incredible. I mean, look, the Bible app's cool too. I mean, dude, the Bible app is serving a ton of people. I mean, it meets people where they're at, which is the beginning.
I love it too. The thing that's been hard for men about the Bible app, and we all agree, is they have these little devotionals you can do. And so what men get caught up in is the day streak, and they don't ever get in the relationship in the Word.
Checkbox.
They get in checkbox.
Which, dude, if I'm going to be real on this, like just real podcast, I'll take that for the beginning, and then what I'm praying for is a hook, something that gets there. So at least there's that. But you're not wrong. It becomes a to-do list. Messenger X is cool. It's a little bit of a different spin on access to the Word in that it's got challenging words that come with it, recordings, very specific things on like if you're dealing with like miracle. It's cool about that. And then the other thing it'll connect you with is, you know, being able to get to the podcast. The stuff that John Bevere has coming out of his mouth is unbelievable. And you know where that comes from, Thad?
Time with the Lord.
Having
His
a
heart.
real relationship.
His heart, right? Heart position. I just don't believe at all that the guy's just a great speaker. Do I believe that he is? He is. But that's not coming, you know, there's great speakers out there that you can tell, dude, they're just good speakers. Bevere's heart position is so good that he's procuring things that are coming from the Father that are coming out of him, that's what's good. It's just good. And it's not because he's a well-trained speaker or some kind of special talent. I think John, I mean, I need to call him Brother John because I have a lot of respect for him, would tell you, Brother John, come on, Thad.
Brother John, you got the
Come on.
That
I
man
got,
loves Jesus.
all I can think of when I hear Brother John is dude just wiping, just up there, just wiping with the sweat rag. Got the
Well, I just think of, you know, when I think of pastors and leaders like that, it's like Mr. Bevere. That just sounded weird.
Well, he's safe.
The way I grew
he's
up was
on
like
track.
brother. He's a
Yeah.
brother John, Pastor John. I want to give him that respect because I have that for him. What he comes out of his mouth, you can tell sometimes if you guys have ever heard Brother John speak, is he'll pause sometimes. And it's like, okay, this isn't part of the speaking tour. And it's because he'll literally tell you, man, this is not in my notes. I just feel like I'm hearing something from the Holy Spirit now, and I want to shift gear. And I love that about him. So we'll get that resource in the show notes, but just so that you know, you can easily go to the App Store and grab Messenger X.
And the Face series is amazing, but the Beta Satan is where most people need to start because almost all of us are walking around with at least some unforgiveness, and it's keeping us in bondage. Hey, Thad, what was the verse was in Matthew that you read? About
Matthew 23, 25, 26.
So off that, Jesus is talking in Luke 18, and because you're starting to talk about the heart, right? So here's somebody that gets everything right actionably, and their heart's hard. So it's a Pharisee. It says 2 men went to the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee. The other was a despised tax collector. And so, by the way, the tax collectors would work for the Roman officers. And the Roman officers would come and ransack houses, take people's wives,
Right.
terrible stuff, and they're adding additional money for their own pocket and taking taxes for Rome. Right? So it's somebody that's
It's a hated person because of they have thievery in them. It's
on a whole nother level.
It's a lot of
So that's who
disdain
the
for
tax
them.
collector is, and he's done a lot of immoral. He's a thief. So the Pharisee stood by himself and he prayed, "I thank God, I'm not like the other people. They're cheaters, they're sinners, they're adulterers. I'm certainly not like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, and I give 1/10 of my income. So I'm doing all this stuff out in public. Perfect.
And he's saying this.
Yeah.
He's saying this out loud. Like, this is like, hey, man,
He's
I'm
convinced
better
himself.
than you.
Right.
I'm just better than you all the time.
It just doesn't
Better
sound
than
like Jesus, right?
It
But
sounds
the,
like a
the
bitch,
tax
bro.
collector stood at a distance, dared not even to lift his eyes to heaven. He prayed. Instead, he beat his chest in sorrow, saying, "Oh God, be merciful on me. I'm a sinner. I tell you, this sinner, not the Pharisee, return home justified before God. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." And that's a position of the heart.
Let's go.
That's a demonstration of what heart position has to be like. No different than the first will be last will be first. You know, when you simplify that down, is it actually goes against everything that worldly position would tell you. Worldly position tells you, dude, you got to be first. You got to win. You got to stack up the dollars. You got to stack up the accolades. And again, we're not here telling you that having success or working hard or again, that's not bad in its own. We're trying to say worldly position will sell you this life. And if you just buy that and it replaces the word, it replaces your relationship with the Father, it will then turn your heart position, like literally a visual, and you'll go this way. And it's like sometimes it's not like you even made one decision to do it. It wasn't like, yep, I want to do that. I'm going to give up on all this other stuff that I think is good. It happens over time.
Yeah.
And it's a distraction, Kellen, where the enemy, it's almost like he blinds you.
You know what the best example in the Bible is of that? Samson. Because you're like, how in the world, if you ever read the book of about Samson, that Delilah's here, and she's got this guy to lie 5 or 6 times about what takes his power away, and he keeps doing it. And it's not a lust thing. It's that Samson made these little steps of rebellion his entire life until he was at the point where that was just life.
Chipped away.
Yeah,
chipped
and it
away.
ruined
chipped
him.
away.
It completely ruined him.
Yeah.
Well, heart position to me doesn't just change from one action or even one big thing. Heart position is this like overtime poisoning of who you are and what you are. And a lot of times it may start so young that you believe that the heart position you have isn't inherently wrong in the first place because it's just what you've always done. And that was a lot for me. That right there speaks a lot to me because there wasn't any one thing that I woke up one day and went like, that sucks. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to do this. It was progressive. Things happen, a little trauma here, a little trauma there. All of a sudden, oh, this is good. I'm going to latch onto this. This is turning out. I'm going to keep chasing this a little bit. This feels good. I think I'm going to keep on doing this. And then all of a sudden you wake up, and because of all these little bitty decisions, it's caused you, it's almost campaigned in your life for things that are wrong. But they didn't look wrong. They didn't look wrong.
They looked like external success. They looked like external fame. They looked like external celebrity. But in reality, it just left you broken.
Then distraction happens, and all of a sudden you're doing this and that. We can't talk
Because
about
it wasn't
YouTube
fulfilling.
hates it.
It wasn't fulfilling.
It was empty.
It was empty. It's an empty cup.
The people that celebrate you at the top of the mountain will abandon you when you're in the valley. And so if I don't have a heart posture for other people, I won't attract people that have a heart posture for other people. And so when I actually have trauma, and this is the way the world finds out some of the successful people way too hard, is they have to deal with somebody with cancer or cancer themselves, or they lose a loved one, and nobody's there to deal with anything hard because the people they put in their life feed off their energy and their talent, and they're selfish too. You don't want to put selfish people in your life, and that's a problem with the heart. If you have a tender heart, you care more about other people than you do yourselves, and that's where real freedom happens.
Man, I'd love to talk about the mountaintop and the valleys and stuff like that. I feel like that could get real fun, real quick. I mean, just in terms of your relationship with God, like you experience God on the mountaintops, but you really get to know God in the valley.
And you forget him in the middle. You can easily forget him in the middle.
And it's like,
yeah,
you can have that mountaintop experience, but like, I mean, Bryan, I would say you've probably got to know God more in the last
2 years,
2-3 years in the valley and not on top of the mountain. And that's, here's the deal. The person you were 3 years ago isn't the person you are today. And it's because you walked through the valley with the Lord.
I want to share a story about you here in a second that you don't necessarily know about. But but what I don't want people to hear is that, oh my gosh, bad things were happening to me. Me. I invited a few bad things to happen to me. I mean, Legacy's thing, nobody's fault. We did the best we could. His mom did the best she could, did an amazing job. Things happen in life. You know, you have struggles. But a lot of times when we start talking about the valley, if we're going to be man enough or real enough to say, you know what, we kind of took a few of our turns to get us there on our own.
Yeah.
And to get out of that, we're also going to have to make decisions to leave that. You know, things that happen to us, that is what it is. And we've got to remain faithful and do what we got to do and take steps. But when we make wrong turns, we've got to get away from this idea that, God, save me from this and that. Dude, save me from myself.
Yeah.
Save me from my dumb decisions. we almost went there. We almost got it. Save me from me. That's what we got to be man enough to do. But I was going to tell you,
before you finish, that may be one of the best prayers anybody could ever pray is, God, save me from myself, because the things that we want all the time are not healthy for us or anybody else. It's the maturity out of those things for others that God gives this freedom. But that's a great prayer.
well, it's like, stop doing things. Now you can pray for strength.
Yeah, Lord, help me to stop doing that.
Help,
Like,
you know, something that helped me over the last couple of years is when I started thinking wrong or going wrong or getting weird, I started asking the Lord for peace. I can pray for help, strength, partnership, all the things that he's already promised us. What I can't do, though, is like, God, please save me from all this nasty stuff I've seen or did. I mean, dude, I did it. I knew better. I'm not a guy out there that didn't know.
Yeah.
That's another thing, men. We need you to hear it. Look, if you've not been exposed to the truth, we're here to tell you there is an answer to it. But hey, guys that know the truth and you're getting weird, hey, we're still with you. I've been one, can still be one sometimes, but that's on us.
Yeah.
We've got to get better. If
Yeah,
you
gotta
know the
own your
truth,
actions.
we got to get better. Part of that warrior mindset is being able to go, yeah, I did that, and I'm going to work on it. Like we were talking about earlier with our buddy, he was actually speaking out of his mouth truth. I want to defeat that. I want to change that. That's a different game altogether. But I was going to tell you, Thad, I'm going to have to get into the whole thing today, but you know, you had made a transition at one point. I have a running notes in my thing about supernatural things that have taken place.
Yeah.
I think it's cool because you would think, oh, how do you not remember that? Well, you're going to remember some of it. But when things start to happen weird everywhere and you start to see cool stuff and you hear good stuff and hearts getting changed, it starts to become such a volume to where you can't remember it all and you really want to remember it. Dude, I came across a note preparing for something the other day that it was multiple notes to myself saying, letting God know, hey, I want to talk to Thad again about the future, but I don't know when. And I had a note in my phone from like 2 or 3 days before we met over at the coffee shop. That's my note said, I feel peace to reach out to Thad today. Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty cool.
You may not remember this, but it was right in there either the day before, day after, a couple days after your position had been known that it was not going to be there anymore. But I didn't know that. You told me at the coffee meeting about your all's, you know, the company change. They were shutting down or sold or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But funny enough, I had peace, and that was my note, is to reach out to Thad about reconnecting in the future. And so when cool stuff starts to happen, you're hearing these things because of your outward effort to pursue him, which goes along with what we've been talking about, being in the Word, not just reading it and checking the box. Meditate on it, but I don't know how. Okay, me either. Here's what you do.
Yeah.
Read it again.
Hey, another side note when you don't know how to meditate on the Word, and so it in the little Christian circle, right? It's called milk to meat. Is that God gives you a truth and you just sit through it for hours, and all of a sudden it forms into something that you could have never seen, because it's like a miracle that he's given you life out of the Word. The pause app, the 1 minute pause app, is a bunch of foundational scripture that gets you in the habit.
Shout out Jared Hogue.
Yeah.
Not a great BA. That man is the most. He publishes that all the time.
Well,
He says it all the time.
We've done it in our men's ministry for years because men, without knowing. So John Eldridge put this together to show men how to stand on the truth of the Word and let it saturate your mind. and think through it for hours because how it's meant to be and ask God questions about it. And so again, another great resource there.
Did y'all grow up in church? You grew up in church, Dad?
Yeah.
You probably did, a Catholic church, probably.
I did. I slept
Whoa,
in church.
whoa.
Oh, my bad. Was
Not
it
a Catholic
Hey,
church.
I wasn't Catholic. I was Lutheran.
Methodist.
Same.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
All right, so basically, guys, I want to let you know that Thad and Kellen basically grew up in the same church. You guys have like candles and robes and whatnot?
No, I did. He did.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No,
we
we
did
Oh, you didn't
not.
like candles?
We kneeled 452 times, lit the little candles, did all the things.
I say all that to say, I'm joking on your alls. I think it was probably the denomination I was in or something similar created a thing called the track. Did you guys ever hear tracks? Tracks were these like, Tiffany, you heard of tracks?
Oh, the little gospel messages.
They're cheesy.
I've
as
seen
hell.
the-
You're
yeah.
talking about the tracks when you go out to
And you go out
And
and
you
you
hand
hand
them
up, or you go downtown, or you go to the nasty places.
Pamphlets.
Yeah,
hand 'em out.
the pamphlets.
The pamphlets.
When I think of tracks, I think, Lord, how in the world did any one of those ever work? How? But
Be like, I'm going to shortcut the whole process that you want.
they did
First,
work.
connect them with-
But here's what I'm trying to encourage men to do these days is we need to get so good and so bold about what we're trying to do is that we can replace the dadgum track. The track's horrible. But you know what? If you're doing nothing, the track's not bad.
It's like the
track is
Bible
something.
app. Get
Track
out and
is something.
start.
Some people just don't have
It gives you confidence to start.
whatever it is. And so what we want men to understand is, hey, I get that. You're nervous about it. I was too. I spent my whole life not really sharing. And the reason why I didn't share is because I thought I believed it in my heart and in my mind. But since I didn't understand it or know it that much, I didn't know what to share. So I didn't. Also, boys, I didn't share because it would be pretty like weird for me to share something that I wasn't really truly engaged in or really even believing in. But if you suffer from this idea that I don't understand, reach out.
Reach out.
We will help you.
Yeah.
Step one is just walk up and do it. Be bold. You'll get bolder.
Send the
and
message.
bolder.
Well, but
Send the
I'll
message.
tell you too, because we talk a lot about this in the men's ministry. If your life's about God, and so if you're plugged in like the journey and you're doing something, if you're actively pursuing the church, not letting baseball or football or any other sport with your kids completely run your life, because it's super weird that sports can run our lives for our 7-year-olds,
Right.
but we're not going to parent enough to put kids in church and actually like run our system. We let the world run the system for us. You don't have to be weird, because when you start meeting somebody new and you talk about stuff, you know what you talk about? Like what you do and then what you did last week. And if what I did last week was have this conversation or do this thing after church at this restaurant I love, it's going to come up. And it's not weird because I'm not pushing it on you. I'm just sharing my life. And so if
Yeah.
you'll be about it, you can just start to genuinely and authentically share what you've been plugged in with, and then ask somebody how they're doing. Mind-blowing. Like I minister all the time, and I'll get into a normal conversation with somebody, mention something, and just pause and go, man, you mentioned this last week. How are you doing? Because nobody checks on anybody authentically.
Yeah.
And then when I go, say, no, really, like we're having a conversation. How are you doing?
Well, you
They'll just
avoid
open
it.
up.
You
Yeah.
avoid it because what if they actually say something?
That you have
And
to
you
have
don't know how to
real-
deal with it.
They have to have a real conversation about.
You know, sometimes you're not going to know what to say.
And you don't need to. Like if it's traumatic, like you say, hey, my mom just died. I said, man, I'm so sorry. And just sit with them.
Right.
I can't fix that, but I can give you my presence, which is healing, and I can let you get it out. We don't have to be everybody's answer.
Just be good at connecting. You know, I'll brag on Easy one more time just because we're thinking about it. The other day, I told him, I'm just standing there and I'm like, man, I just thought about this. Everyone in my family that I like did like life. Didn't plan on that getting weird. I thought I had this. I thought I had it good.
Tears are welcome, bro.
Yeah,
Let's
but-
do it.
They're dead.
Yeah.
And you know what was cool about Easy in that moment is he didn't really know what to say. So you know what he did? He was like, I'm going to cook you a meal. You know, and I thought that's an example of just doing something. You know, Thad, you mentioned you don't know what to say. Well, that's okay. Hear it and then try to help. It's either going to pray for him. Easy's response was, you know, quiet. I'm going to cook a meal for you. And just starting. Yeah, it's servanthood. Like I'm gonna cook. So I just, golly, boys.
Well, hey, here's the deal.
Someone take over.
No, it's
Well,
my
here's the thing. My former boss at the church had something that she called grief groceries. And so like anybody in her life that, you know, lost somebody, she's like, bro, I can't do anything for these
Right.
people. But like, can I buy them? Can I like Instacart them groceries and like have them delivered to your house? And like have easy stuff like lasagna that you can pop in the oven or like peanut, like Uncrustables. She was like, people love peanut butter and jellies. No matter if you're 3 or 93, you love a peanut butter and jelly. It's like,
Unless you're my kids, yeah.
freaking weird.
I know.
Kids, man.
I know.
We go through
Sucks.
Uncrustables like crazy at our house. But it was like, can I send them $50 of groceries just to get through the next few days where they don't have to think, where they don't have to like do anything mentally. It's like, cool, read the directions and press buttons.
And I'll say it's even easier than that. If somebody's hurting, write their name down. And so, Brian, we drop little audio drops, voice drops to each other, which are incredibly convenient. But I was checking on you, and I got teary-eyed because over the same thing. You're like, yeah, what's been great because I wanted to talk to Easy about a couple things, so he's been available. We've been able to talk about those things. But with what I'm going through, he's just cooking me dinner, and it made me emotional. I'm like, because Easy's got a big enough heart where he understands and he can sense when people are going through stuff. May not know what to do, but he knows what he's good at, and he knows what love is to him. And love is serving other people and making them steak, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so he's doing that for you. I'm like, just in my car on my own, a little teared up. I'm like, cool. My good friend Bryan, like his heart's being taken care of. I'm going to thank Easy later. Like that's what the world should do for each other. It's like if somebody's hurting, right there.
But it also that reflects your heart position, and that's what this whole thing about reflecting your heart position of, he just cared. He just cared enough. And he's like, Brian's going through it right now. Like, we're just going to cook. And I don't really have much to say, but like, it was like the humility of like, hey, bro, like, you might not be able to do it for yourself right now, but I can do it for you.
Well, Tiffany kind of
showing up.
mentioned a while ago, I don't know if you guys heard it because she doesn't have a microphone. It's like a version of washing someone's feet, which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
It's serving. It's
with nothing expected in return.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, you can't really top serving other people, because if you decide to serve other people, so if you're men and you're out connecting with someone else who's going through it, if you just show up like Thad was talking about earlier, be there to hear it, your next step might be, let's pray about that. You don't know what to say. You're not a resource for mental health or for whatever the guy just did, but you are a resource to connect them to prayer, how to show humility, how to work through remorse, and these things. Anybody can do that. You don't have to be trained for that.
Well, I'll say too, Brian, we were talking this entire kind of theme, right, is the position of power and chasing things versus the position of the heart. And you can chase things and even succeed and be happy for a moment. And Thad, you know that too, right? Yeah. Like I can be happy about my little prize and it fades so quickly. You can start serving somebody today and change your life forever and start changing other people's lives just by thinking about other people and serving them. Yeah. I mean, that's the answer. That's the golden ticket to life.
I think at that point, it's like, man, if you're serving people and you don't expect anything back, your heart's in the right spot.
You're at least on your way.
And I mean, I think that's a solid place to wrap it up. I mean, of like, if you are actively serving people and expecting nothing in return, you've kind of figured out a little bit of the code.
Well,
and the code is
others,
yeah. Well, and I don't know how people understand how grateful they need to be about Thad being able to talk today, because he's freezing to death over there. You can literally see his teeth like chattering, but
because he dressed for Hawaii.
He's just thinking it was going to be hot, but it's freaking cool.
At least Bryan
in here
called
right
you the
now.
right name the whole time.
No,
I feel like if I look out the window, we're going to see snow. But I want to remind people of some resources. We talked about Messenger X quite a bit today.
The Pause app.
The Pause app. Obviously, we want to be a resource. We want you to listen, download the podcast on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify. We share the links on Facebook. Like
it, even if you don't like Bryan.
Like
or
it.
Jeans.
Share it. Jeans are awesome.
If they come like almost down, like there's George.
This is me.
So they're not George.
My leg is
George
up,
are up
dude.
here, right?
They go to
These are what do girls wear?
All you need to know, Caprice.
They're like jean capris.
All you need
There's
to know
like
is
1,000 messages asking where I got them.
subscribe, unsubscribe, and resubscribe.
Can we call them Japris?
Or Bapriz, Bryan Priest.
Well,
it'll be fine.
They're amazing, of
It'll be
course.
fine.
It's your all's way of complimenting me, and I accept your compliments. But like on your platform, they're all easy. If you scroll to the bottom, of the podcast, you can see the stars. People have been asking. Scroll to the bottom, give us 5 stars, leave a comment. Like Kellen said earlier, leave some feedback, leave a question. We check those out. Send DMs on the Get Canceled Facebook page.
If you know us personally, send us personal stuff. That's easy stuff.
Send it. Now that we're on the TikTok live, whatever that means, I'll get messages on that too. And so we want to answer your questions, but remember the resources today. We talked about Messenger X. It'll be in the notes. Pause app. Also, when your crew starts up again, we'll start to try to be better at saying, hey, Band of Brothers is starting up. When Journey's starting, we want men to have a place to sign up.
Well, and you don't get asked all the time about women. We can look some of that up too. But I will say, when you're on that, Pete over at Triton. 1 o'clock on Sundays. You get a hold of me if you're interested. You know, roll all summer. He's going to run a Band of Brothers after they do live roll sessions. So be good.
We got it. Derek's wanting to know why my legs are so wide open. You know, good question, Derek.
It'd be fine.
Also,
because the
weird, dude.
The fan gets the air up his legs. And his shorts don't come all the way.
Also, Derek noted where your eyes went. It's fine.
Just know it's time to get canceled.
It's time.
It's time to get canceled.
It's time to get canceled. Don't
Y'all-
forget to get
y'all have a good one.
canceled. Have a good weekend.
Take it easy.